Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. My name is Saimah and welcome to Saimah's Experience. In this video, I'm going to go over the top 3 profitable electric vehicles on the Turo marketplace, share some numbers with you about day rates, the number of trips they're getting, and how I came to this conclusion. So I'm really excited to get into it with you. Now, I ran a community poll the other day asking you guys if you guys want me to dive a little bit deeper into topics that do touch upon being a Turo host, like setting up your business and finances. So in the upcoming weeks and months, you're going to see me posting some videos that is, a little different than usual. So not just all Turo related. So I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. Based on the community poll, there is an overwhelming demand for that. So I'll start putting out some stuff kind of related to those subject matters. So I'm excited to do that and kind of venture off into those directions. So hopefully you guys will join me for the journey. All right, let's get into it. 3 top states for electric vehicles. Number 1, California. Number 2, Texas. And number 3, Florida. So these are the primary markets I'm looking at. Now, of course, we've all seen what's been going on lately. Gas prices have been through the roof. A couple of weeks ago, I filled up for almost $7.20 per gallon here in Southern California. So comment below and let me know, what are you filling up for and what area you're in? I'm super curious. Now, yes, reports have shown that in the past 30 days, gas prices are starting to come down. And I think on average, they've dropped by about 50 cents per gallon. I filled up yesterday in my Audi TT, getting it ready for a rental, and it was still around the $6.50 mark. So it's still way up there. And it's crazy and it's painful at the pump, especially during summertime when people are traveling. They're already spending on airfare, activities, vacation. We're headed into recessionary times. No one really wants to spend on gas. So that's why there's no surprise in seeing that EVs are performing so well on the Turo platform, especially in this climate. They are really being sought after. People are booking them. And of course, we are higher up on that adoption curve where people are feeling comfortable with renting EVs. So let's dive into the number 3 spot for the top performing and profitable electric vehicle on Turo, which is your Tesla Model S and Model X. Now, I have them neck and neck because in most of the markets that I looked at, especially California, Florida, and Texas, because that's where we're going to get our biggest sample size, since that's where most of the EVs are, I saw that the amount of Model S's and Model X's that are listed were pretty similar, and they were very similar in the number of trips and day rates that they're getting. So I kind of wanted to put them in the same category of profitability. Now, we know with the Model S and the Model X, they are the top line of vehicle for the Tesla brand. So they're high end and they are expensive in terms of cost of ownership. They start out at anywhere near $105,000 up to $120,000, which makes those monthly payments extremely expensive. Now, Tesla is the one exception that I would highly recommend, that if you decide to go that route, that you buy secondhand, buy it in the used market, because these are cars that haven't changed so much in terms of design over the many years that they've been around. So it doesn't make that much of a difference when it comes to the renter's experience in Tesla. If you're getting a 2018, 2019, 2020, they all essentially work and look the same, because Tesla is known for pushing over-the-air software updates for their vehicles, and most vehicles, depending on what year they are, tend to get those updates. So you can buy older and still feel confident that they're going to run really well, they're going to stand the test of time, and they're going to perform well on the marketplace, and you bring that cost of ownership down. Now, when I looked at the Model S's and the Model X's, I saw that they're getting, at bare minimum, typically around $100 per day. And of course, this can vary by market and this can vary by model, up to, 250 plus if you have that brand new Tesla Model S, the Plaid edition that people are really excited to test out and test drive. You are getting that top line day rate. Now, again, there's always outliers when you do this research, and it's going to vary by market, but I'm just giving you a general overview of what performance performs well. So the thing to consider when getting into a Model S and a Model X is how does it compare against the cars that I'm going to mention that come in spot number 2 and spot number 1. And you always want to verify that the cost of ownership makes mathematical and financial sense when you list it on the platform. So do that market research, find that day rate that it is getting on average, and then work out how many days a month is it getting rented, what does that margin look like after expenses, including insurance and car payment and any other maintenance that you might have, and then you want to see what that bottom line number is. So I can't emphasize enough how important market research is. And if you want to learn more about how to analyze your market and take a look at listings and figure out what those numbers are, check out my website, powerhost.club. I have a course, I'll walk you through it from beginning to end so that you can come to the right numbers and make the right decision. Okay, in the number 2 slot, this might not come by surprise either. It is the Tesla Model 3. Now, Model 3s have become so extremely popular over the years, and the Turo marketplace is flooded with them. And this is because the Model 3 was one of the first mass-produced, most affordable electric vehicles from the Tesla brand. And so there is mass adoption, which was Elon's plan all along, and it worked. So tons of people have Model 3s. And naturally, so does the Turo marketplace. Now, cost of ownership over the years has gone up a little bit, of course, due to inflationary times and cost of goods and services going up. The starting price is around $46,000 to $47,000 for a brand new Model 3. Again, Teslas. Buy used if you can, because you're going to really save on that depreciation and bring your cost of ownership down, which increases your room for margins. Now, the Model 3s typically go for between $62 and $110 per day. Now, that $62 number I know seems really low. And this is why I emphasize that you do market research over an extended period of time, because that 62 number is occurring in the Southern California marketplace, where we're experiencing an unusually slow summer. Whereas in places like Texas, where Turo has been very busy this summer, like some of you hosts have been mentioning, is doing at least $110 per day. So you can see how it can really drastically vary based on what's happening in the market and where you are located. So you want to do that research and make sure you understand how that car is performing in your marketplace. All right, you guys, if you're liking this video so far, make sure you hit subscribe on this channel so you can stay up to date with me, and I'll be sharing tons of new information on cars that are performing well in the Turo marketplace. And after I mention that number 1 spot of the most profitable electric vehicle on Turo, I'm going to go over the cars that you should keep an eye out for that are going to perform very well in the near future. And they're on my watch list, and you should put them on yours too. Okay, spot number 1 goes to, wait for it, the Tesla Model Y. Now, here's the reason why I placed it in the very first spot for the highest performing electric vehicle. Because the Tesla Model Ys came out much later than the Model 3s. They're still very new. People are still getting them. They're on order. They're coming out for delivery. But if you do your market research on Turo and you look carefully, the Tesla Model Y is accruing a lot of trips when they're listed on the platform in a very short amount of time. So what that means is that the demand is very high for that car. Now, my hunch is that people are really seeking that car out because a lot of people have it on order. And also, it's very travel, family, and space friendly. So when people are traveling with their families or in groups, they have plenty of space for luggage and baggage, and it's just a much more comfortable ride for people, especially if they're road tripping and they just need that extra space. So I think people really seek that out because it's kind of that, crossover in between type of car or SUV, if you will, and people really like that. Now, cost of ownership brand new is of course higher than the Model 3, coming in at $66,000. Again, if you give it just a couple years, because these are still so new, these are going to end up on the used car market and will make for a great buy when you buy them just a little bit used, and that's going to make all the difference in your margins. And very similar to the Model 3s, they are going for anywhere between 62 in a very slow market. Let me emphasize that. In an extremely slow market, like here in Southern California, they're going for, I'm sorry, about $65 per day, all the way up to 120 plus, depending again on market. So I think the Model Ys really have a lot of demand, and they're going to continue to have that demand, which makes them a great buy for the Turo marketplace. And again, make sure you do that market research. It is so important. Okay, now looking at all of these cars, you always want to think about, well, what's next, right? I know many of you guys are in marketplaces where it's very saturated by Teslas. And I think what's so exciting about this time is the fact that so many manufacturers have pledged to go all electric by 2030, 2035. So there's a lot of change coming to the automotive industry, which means we need to keep an eye out for up and coming electric vehicles that people are going to be seeking out, and it's going to become very common on the Turo marketplace. What's interesting is when you do research on the Turo marketplace, there aren't that many other electric vehicles, which is why all 3 spots went to the Tesla brand. But if you look closely, there are a couple of cars that you want to track, and I'm going to share them with you in all different categories from, very affordable to high end, so it can fit whatever your fleet is. And now I also look for patterns based on what I see here in Southern California, the cars that start popping up more and more on the road, because I remember back in the day when Tesla first came out, I used to have a 2013 Model S, so this is way in the early days. You can really see people start catching on to certain brands and certain types of cars, and it gives you an idea as to where the adoption curve is and what people are gravitating towards. So that is really, really key, and you want to track those patterns. So the first car that I see popping up more and more and more is by Hyundai, and it's the Ioniq 5. I think I'm saying that right. And it's going for around $40,000 brand new. And it's interesting, I found one listing on Turo in North Carolina, I believe it was, and it was going for about $105 per day, which was insane. So that is definitely on the watch list. Number 2, the Ford Mustang Mach E. This is probably the car that I get asked about the most by Turo hosts and if they should list it. I'm seeing this car pop up more and more, and it is absolutely beautiful. I love the way that looks. I think Ford did a fantastic job at it. And the starting price point is about $44,000 brand new. And it's going for about $100 per day on the Turo platform, from the few listings that I came across. And again, Ford and Mustang already has that following, so I think it'll resonate really well with the renter side of the marketplace. Then this is one of my favorites, the Rivian, which is a truck that came out. The company is actually based right here out of Irvine, California. So I see them everywhere. Literally every single day I see them driving around. And that's probably because proximity-wise I'm so close to them. But it is absolutely gorgeous. It is really grabbing the attention of so many people, and that starts out at around $85,000. So it's definitely on the higher end of things because that's expensive, but people really have a very strong following for that vehicle. And I only saw one listing, which was in the Bay Area, going for $553 per day, which is of course insane. And that car was booked. So I know that there are some tax incentives out there. And so that's something you might want to look into and help bring that cost of ownership down for the Rivian. Then there's the Polestar 2. Now I've seen a couple of listings of the Polestar, which is a new manufacturer, a new brand, all on its own, and those start out at about $46,000. And I saw a couple of listings and they are fully booked up. And I talked to a host friend, I think also out in the Florida area, who had one, and he said his renters are absolutely loving it, and they can go anywhere from about $75 to $100 per day. So that is also on the watch list. Now, I am going to put a list of all of these cars and the listings down in the description below so that you guys can bookmark them and then kind of keep an eye on them over time to just kind of track how they're doing. And that way you can be curious about, if these cars are a good fit for your fleet. Now, kind of going to the high-end side of things, there is the new Mercedes-Benz EQS. Extremely expensive in terms of cost of ownership. It's going for over $100,000, but absolutely stunning. Right now, I saw a listing on the marketplace where it had it listed for $299 per day. So I don't know, in the future, maybe if that price comes down, maybe if you can buy secondhand, we have to kind of wait and see. Not enough information, but a car that I'm seeing pop up all over the place and beautifully done at that. And then finally, the last one on my list, and also a favorite on my list, is the Porsche Taycan. Gorgeous electric car by Porsche, kind of like the Panamera in terms of design and style, and people love it. That starts at around $100,000. They say 85, but most of the dealerships are marking them up because there is such a supply shortage because of everything going on. And I'm seeing day rates anywhere from $250 to $400 plus on these cars. So there's not enough data yet, in my opinion, on all of these cars on the Turo marketplace to justify getting one. Like, I personally wouldn't go out and go purchase one just yet, but I think in the very near future, like in the next 6 to 12 months, we'll see enough information there to where we can make an educated decision on which one makes financial sense and which one is being sought after by the renter marketplace. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys found this video helpful. My takeaway from all this research that I've done is that the adoption for electric vehicles is becoming so common and so popular by the everyday consumer, the everyday renter, that over the next, 5 to 10 years, we're going to see a radical shift in the Turo marketplace to where it will be dominated by electric vehicles. So what that tells me in my mind is, hey, you got to pay attention to this because this is where things are trending and we want to be ready. We want to be on the forefront of it so we can build those listings, build those reviews, and, give the people what they want, which is electric vehicles and gas savings. Thank you so much, guys. Once again, if you like this video, make sure you hit that like button, comment down below, let me know what you think about the future of electric vehicles, just in general, and on the Turo marketplace. And I look forward to talking to you guys down below. Take care, everyone.